Um, Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. Uh, yeah, today I'll explain you how you can create a procedure in your Oracle database and also walk you through an example of creating a procedure. So in Oracle, in Oracle 11G around something 11G, there was a create and replace command introduced to create stored procedures. So even in 19C, this holds true. So before talking about versions of Oracle, I would want to I would want to speak about why a procedure is required. So if in your application development you have a repeated set of tasks which you want to automate, and as well as and at the same time in your application you can use those repeated set of tasks at n number of places, but you want only one copy of that. You can create a packaged procedure, or you can create a standalone procedure at schema level in your Oracle. So basically procedures are different, that they automate a set of tasks, do some mechanical tasks, and they may or may not return values to the calling environment, uh, depending they do that via parameters, the out and in out parameters. In parameters only accept the values, and your this particular uh, they are different from functions which return a specific value after calculations. So procedure can have some statements as well as some calculation intensive tasks for its own use. So now I'll quickly walk you through how you can create a procedure in Oracle 19C, and same holds true for some higher versions also, like 21C. So it is done by create or replace command, additionable or non-additionable procedure, and then the procedure code follows. Now, if create or replace, what it does is, if the procedure exists, it replaces it with the new code, whatever you have mentioned, and if it doesn't exist, it creates it. Additionable and non-additionable are basically object oriented. When you combine relational Oracle schemas with relational development with object oriented features like Oracle apps or anything Oracle XML, etc. Which has object oriented features in it, which you can do very well in Oracle. So this additional and non-additional clause comes into picture. You have object tables which actually refer to objects in your application. So they are used in these additional and non-additional features of your procedure. Now, like it's something like you want to create an edition of some particular version of your procedure which you want to publish to your customers, or maybe to the application to be available for customers to use it. So now what the code contains, it contains a schema, and then it contains a procedure name, and then in round brackets it has a set of parameter declarations which are like parameter name, the type that is in out or in out, and the data type of the parameter separated by commas. Now, in is something which goes into your procedure. In out is something which is returned from the procedure, and in out is some variable which comes from your calling environment, maybe your application, which is used in the procedure, and after doing some calculation, it returns the same value to the calling environment, which could be a Java code, it could be a .NET code, any object-oriented code which is calling your database. Any latest code also calls Oracle databases like Node.js, React.js, etc. And backend JavaScript. They can also call Oracle data stores. So after the parameter declaration, what you have is sharing clause. Sharing clauses again used whether you want to share metadata or you don't want to share anything. Like this particularly is used in Oracle tenants, multi-tenant architecture, where the customers have their if you have one application and you have sold it to some customers, then this also applies to whether that object will be shared across the tenants or customers, or whether it will not share anything. This is again a application development concept, like in multi-tenant architecture, if there are multiple customers which have more or less the same data requirements, so and they are sharing the same installation, so you can share your object between them, your procedure, by either sharing clause like metadata only or maybe none. Then after that you have a default collation clause. Collation is nothing but a sort order. I mean, how you wanted the sort specifications in your procedure. What should be the sort specifications? So there are some schema level parameters which you will find it in database properties, which specify what is the sort order, default sort order for your session, for your schema application, etc. So collation is nothing but sort orders. Like it is a Oracle globalization a language linguistic feature. So what happens is normally we follow the normal or normal English sort order, which US English, etc. sort order, whatever is there in the application, we follow that, or maybe UK. But in some other places, the sort order is not exactly according to the US or UK. So if your application is truly global, then you need to specify this collation clause. Then there is an invoker rights clause. Now, what this invoker rights clause does is, whichever schema has created this particular procedure, it will by default have all the rights on the procedure. The one who he will own this procedure, but there is a flexibility of mentioning that invoker, the procedure will run by the invoker. Now, if there is a schema A and schema B and procedure is created in schema A, then from schema B, if you specify invoker for the procedure for invoker rights clause, then schema B, when he calls this procedure and if he has the necessary rights, it will execute the procedure will execute according to the rights of the schema B rather than schema A, although it is present in schema A. And by default, it is defined. And there is an accessible by clause also defined, which is some additional restriction on the invoker rights, like which is very hard coded that this particular procedure will be accessed by only a particular stored procedure, a particular package, or maybe a particular schema. No one other else can other than that. If accessible by clause is specified, no one else other than that can access that particular procedure. After that you have is as, and then you have declare section and body of the procedure where you write the code, or maybe you have only have the call specifications where in cases where you like in packages you can only specify create the specification first and write the code later. Similarly, in standalone procedures you can create a specification, and any particular other member in the team who wants to develop his code he could develop it according to the specification, and later when you have the code, you have the logic ready to code it, you can code it using the same command and just replace a specification with the declare section and body, I mean the code of the procedure, which confirms to that call specification, so that other people's code don't break when you work in a team. So this is a very high level flow of a creating procedure. What are its various clauses, and how we create an object-oriented and normal schema. I will quickly walk through you one example so that it will be easier for you to understand what it is. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay. If you can see my screen. Okay. Now, you can see this get users procedure. Okay, this is a standalone procedure in schema, in a particular schema which I have created in my database. Okay, it doesn't takes any parameters or anything. It has its own local variables, a sysref cursor. It has a record type variable. This is a ref cursor variable, system ref cursor. This is a record type variable of which has this is a composite data type record, which this already uses a table, and its rows, whatever data types are there in its rows, this composite data type will have that record kind of structure. Okay. So what I do is I'm opening the ref cursor for selecting all the rows from this particular order underscore user tables, then fetching this ref cursor into this record variable, which since the table match, okay, and then outputting that on the system prompt, that the username and user ID. Order underscore user is a database table which has all the users details of the particular database, including system users and all other users which you have created. After fetching, I'm outputting that on the system on your system prompt, and then I'm closing the cursor and I'm ending the procedure. So this already exists, but I'm rerunning it, and procedure you can see get users is compiled. Okay, it has been compiled successfully. Now we need to set the server output on to for this particular dbusers underscore output package to work. Now we can run the procedure by get users exec and get users. When you run this, you will see it will fetch one row and then it will the procedure will exit successfully. So if you go up. You can see this, the procedure is executed successfully, and it has got a username of sys is the system and ID is 0. So this is a simple example of creating and replacing, creating a procedures. You can have, if you want, you could have used this ref cursor as a variable over here as out or in out, and then you could have passed that variable in a calling environment like Java or .NET code, where that variable would have used, or it could be some other table also, which fetches the data from the table, and then the application code would have fetched looped to the ref cursor, and it would have used it in its own logic to process the rows according to whatever the business logic is. So this is that's it. So if you think that whatever is specified in this particular video is good enough, please do like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what else you would want to know about. And I think that's pretty much for it. Okay. Thanks for staying connected. Goodbye.